Today on the Commanders Report, head coach Dan Quinn reestablishes the standard after that embarrassing preseason loss to the New England Patriots last Friday. And then the Commanders made 8 roster moves after that preseason loss as well, including 3 veteran free agency signings. So make sure you guys stick around to the end of today's show to see who those players are. But before we get into the content today, where are you guys at? Let me know down there in the comments section. How concerned are you after Friday's preseason blowout? The special teams look bad. Honestly, all 3 phases look pretty darn bad. So what do you guys think? On a scale of 1, meaning not worried at all, it's just preseason, to 10, meaning I am absolutely panicking. This season's going to be terrible for us. Put your confidence level in, or your concern level after Friday's preseason blowout. So listen, guys, it was not a good performance for the Washington Commanders on Friday. Now, I also said on my post-game reaction that I don't care that they got blown out in the preseason. But you know who should care about it? The head coach, Dan Quinn, who is in charge of really establishing the culture and the standard inside the Commanders building. And he said in his post-game press conference that it, quote-unquote, burns his ass that his team was as sloppy as they were on Friday night. And that's exactly the approach that your head coach should have after your team has that kind of performance. And then on Sunday, he had his guys come into the facility for a team meeting, and they had their first, quote-unquote, Tell the Truth Monday of 2025. And for those of you that don't know about Dan Quinn's culture and what he does after losses, they have these things called Tell the Truth Mondays, where they have this team meeting. Anyone can talk, and anybody can talk about anything that they want to talk about when it came to the game, when it comes to not doing the things the right way. And it gives the team an opportunity to air out their grievances with the coaching staff, the players to air out their grievances with the players to air their grievances out with each other, and just get all of the bad vibes out early in the week so that they can move forward to the next week. I think it's actually a brilliant thing that Dan Quinn has implemented into this Commanders culture, and this is Dan Quinn explaining why they do this. It's a time not to place blame, but to show the examples of what went right, what didn't, what needs addressing. How do we work on that? What's the action you're gonna do to put it behind it? To say if this happened, acknowledging it's one thing, but then now here's the individual plan to say this can't repeat the mistake. So listen, guys, moments like this are why I really like Coach Quinn. All right, and I think that he is an awesome team builder, awesome team leader, an awesome culture builder for this football team. And it was one of the reasons why this team with a rookie quarterback last year was able to go from the number 2 overall pick to the number 2 team in the NFC playoffs last year, losing to the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game when nobody had those expectations for this team last year. Everybody is bought in that locker room. Everyone believes in each other. Everyone is brothers inside that Commanders locker room. And, you know, culture building is one of the more underrated aspects of an NFL head coach in today's league. Everybody talks about these offensive gurus, and, you know, having one of those guys is nice, but having a guy like Dan Quinn, who not only brings, defensive prowess in terms of the schematics that he brings to the table, but also, gets people to buy into the culture that he is building here in Washington, is why I think that he's the right man for the job here in Washington. And it's nice to see, that first Tell the Truth Monday get out of the way early on in the preseason here, all right? We don't want to have too many of these during the regular season, so get the first one out of the way now, reestablish the standard, and come out next week on Monday Night Football against the Cincinnati Bengals and play a better game of football than he did last Friday. So fill in the blank for me down there in the comments section. Dan Quinn is a top blank head coach in the NFL today. For me personally, I think he's already in the top 10, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section and fill in the blank for today's pinned question. Just a second here, I'm going to tell you about an awesome opportunity to get a great piece of Commanders apparel. But before I let you guys know about that deal today, get down there in the comments section and fill in the blank for me here with today's pinned question. And with that, guys, if you want to get a Jaden Daniels jersey before the start of the season, you guys can go chatsports.com/Daniels. That link is down there in the comments and description of today's show, where we have all these different types of jerseys for Jaden Daniels in stock right now. You got the black alternates, you got the burgundy homes, you got the white aways. And guys, if you want to get your jersey before the start of the season, because you're getting it online here, the timetable to get this jersey online and have it arrive at your doorstep before the start of the season is starting to run out. So you guys can go to chatsports.com/Daniels. It helps out the show as well. We get part of the proceeds when you use our link today. So go chatsports.com/Daniels to pick up your Jaden Daniels jersey today. So now let's break down some of the roster moves that the Commanders made after that preseason opener. Multiple players did not look good. Some players got injured, and the Commanders need to make some roster moves here, adding to the roster after some moves here. So we'll start with the players that got injured and have been placed on IR. And these guys are out for the season, right? Lucas Niang, the offensive tackle, tore his ACL. He is out for the season, and Kevin Seymour, the cornerback, is also out for the season, so those players are no longer on your active roster. Then you get to the players that were cut. Former fifth-round pick Dominique Hampton, the extremely athletic safety is what he came out as. The Commanders tried converting him to linebacker, really didn't play well in the preseason game, guys, just didn't know what to do out there. So they ended up cutting him today. Then Vilami Fehoku, the defensive lineman, is also cut. And then Alan George, who did not have a great game in the second half versus the Patriots on Friday, also cut. And then to replace those 5 players, they have currently made 3 signings. So they still have more roster spots that they could use here on their 90-man roster, but they have added Antonio Hamilton Sr., a cornerback, Duke Riley, a linebacker, and Asang Bassi, a cornerback. All of these guys are veterans with starting experience in the National Football League. So let's break these guys down one at a time here, starting with Antonio Hamilton Sr. You guys might remember him from the Cardinals season of Hard Knocks when Cliff Kingsbury was the head coach back in 2022. And this guy was a starter for that team during that season because of the injuries that they suffered. 18 NFL starts in his 9-year NFL career, so he's been more of a backup, more of a special teamer in his career, but the last full season that he played with Arizona was in 2023 with a 64.7 PFF grade. Last year, though, a below 30 PFF grade and about 40 snaps with the Atlanta Falcons, so really small sample size, but he wasn't great in the limited action he had with the Falcons last year. And then you get to Duke Riley, who's also over 30 years old. He's known as an athletic kind of coverage linebacker and special teams ace. That's what he was known for last year with Miami. He's got 36 NFL career starts, though, man. Like, this guy is somebody that has a lot of experience out there, and he's probably replacing Dominique Hampton's role, hoping that you get a little bit more stability at that spot in future preseason games. And then Asang Bassi, the cornerback, formerly with the Los Angeles Chargers and Denver Broncos. He's only 27 years old. He does have 5 career starts. And, he wasn't on an NFL roster last year, but in the last time that he played was in 2023. So some veteran presence here with some starting experience. It just seems like Coach Q wanted to get more veterans in there, like guys that actually know what to do out on an NFL football field. Doesn't mean that all 3 of these guys are going to be making the roster or anything like that because they have that experience, but I would say Antonio Hamilton potentially making this team is a possibility, and then Duke Riley as a special teams ace is certainly possible as well. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Out of the 3 new Commanders that they have signed today, who has the best chance of making the final roster before week 1 when we play the New York Football Giants? Type AH for Antonio Hamilton Sr., type DR for Duke Riley, or EB for Asang Bassi. Now, guys, I will say before we wrap up today's show that more moves could be on the way, all right? We talked about how you placed 2 players on season-ending IR, you cut 3 players, but then you only sign 3 players. So you do have multiple members of your rosters still to be filled. So the Commanders could still open those 2 roster spots. It'll be interesting to see if they bring in a receiver because the Terry McLaurin situation continues to drag on. Noah Brown is dealing with an injury, and the current set of Commanders wide receivers just haven't really been getting the job done. It would be interesting to see if they bring in a guy like Gabe Davis, if they bring in a guy like Amari Cooper, 2 guys that have a lot of starting experience that are still free agents out there. We'll have to see on that, guys, but if they do make a move, we will have a video for you guys right here on the Commanders Report, 100% free to break down whatever players they end up bringing into the roster here. So click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, go raise some hail.